welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot, sometimes to their own advantage, as we found out last session. Because last session, apparently somebody with the blood that was collected from some of this bunch of yahoos has been put to some kind of use. Remy managed to shrug it off. You really don't want to give paladins charisma saves. It never goes quite the way you want it to. Barnabas, on the other hand, not so much on charisma saves. So a good part of the session was trying to talk Barnabas down from being particularly bullshit about getting rid of Remy's wedding ring / tracker. That was a whole thing. There were some assumptions made, which we're probably going to have to talk about this session. But moving on from that, they got approached by one of the Avernus. One of the effectively Azamar-ish devils of hell, which they pretty much determined that the ritual that Clarity found was actually more or less to provide these particular Azamar doing said ritual the powers of the Avernus. Or just turn them into them. We don't entirely know for sure, but given the change of appearance and the physical wings and all the rest of it, it seems a fairly fair assumption. One of the native to Avernus Avernus turned up, said, the Archduchess wants a word, and since you don't say no to that kind of shit, unless you want, like, everything descending upon your head, they got not so much to the House of Hope, because Zariel doesn't go in for that red velvet bullshit, but Zariel's holdings, wherever those happen to be, they were them at her. This never ends well. However, they managed to escape with their lives, and as far as they can tell, having brokered a bargain. However, as they're settling down for the evening, they were fed, not souls or anything dangerous, they were just fed, because Barnabas told Zariel everything he knows about the soul taint, and that took a long time. And, hospitality, you're going to feed people. Thankfully, you're not going to feed people to people. Anyway, point is, at least they didn't have to break into the rations, except for Michigan, because Michigan was kind of denied the run of the table in Zariel's personal holdings, because that would probably not have ended well, but this is baby church griffin. This shit happens. But as settling down and giving Hazel one of their ration bars to feed in Michigan, you've got Cherie going, okay, well, and yes, we got out of that alive, but thinking back on that conversation, I think that's about the only really good thing I can say about it. That I suppose none of you were particularly... Your bargains have been with kinder beings, I think. But you notice there was no paperwork. There was no outright statement that this would happen. She never said what she'd do. She dodged around every single one of those issues, so I'd advise us to be careful. As I have a feeling she got the most out of that.
I mean, after my spectacular stupidity, I'm still going to count that as at least a little bit of a win that we're breathing, thanks to you.
Well, to be fair, it was not only you, Remy. Please don't. It's like with moose and elephants and anything bigger than you. Don't make eye contact!
I will keep that in mind.
I'm so surprised she didn't beat the almighty tar out of you. I really am. No, something about this whole thing keeps sitting wrong with me. And
Hmm.
Spiegel, we had that conversation. I think you.
Yeah, there's just like gears are starting to rattle around.
I
The
mean,
the
we're
part
sorry.
the Archduchess of Avernus didn't know about the corruption that's driving demons out of the abyss.
Oh, well, no. That I mean, that's a whole entire different thing because Zariel is not going to go wandering around the abyss. The abyss isn't her territory, and I can
True.
understand her probably not wanting to. I can understand her not knowing about any of its incursions here because it looks like the whole point of their little fracas is that, or as Barnabas would pronounce it, fracas, which no, but anyway, um,
What?
they're not. The whole point is that Zariel and thus Asmodeus doesn't know what Tiamat's up to.
Which is also significantly concerning.
That. Wait a second. Wait a second. Maybe she does. Maybe they do, or at least know more, or at least knew some to start with. Cause the whole the not a contract thing, and then I started thinking about it, and oh boy, this is gonna take a bit. Need to
Deep,
get words
deep,
in order.
deep breath. Snug the Michigan.
Ha!
Yes, snug the Michigan. It will help.
Yeah, doing that.
Snug. You have an
So
emotional support, Church Griffin. Wonderful.
here's a thought. We've been kind of stuck on the filth getting into everywhere and doing things to basically every single thing we fought. Uh, what if that's not the case with Jessamy? What if she's reporting to Zariel?
Or hasn't had a chance to because of how differently time moves here. Keep in mind that it was about a week here before we even got here.
Uh-huh.
So she might not have known, but she might be getting a report as we speak. I don't know. But you're right. You guys do hyper focus on the filth. That's an interesting way of putting it. I suppose it's shorter than Soul Taint and Black Crap. So you're
There's
saying Jessamy is not in league, potentially not in league with the Soul Taint.
I mean, that's one way to think about it because we do tend to stick to it. But remember who she was working with on the material. She was working with a group that was extremely anti filth.
And she probably would have heard from various of the stories that the concern your group was having was that Tiamat wanted it.
And yeah, that's been bouncing us. That sounds like, well, rumors and hearsay about that is now bouncing around all of the inner, outer, and everywhere else planes.
So, if I'm understanding you right, you're saying that when the initial job of protecting the Protector Azamar was, she clearly didn't like it anyway, so she just wanted them to shut up, otherwise she wouldn't have called for their deaths. You're saying that when she knew, or suspected, or heard gossip about Tiamat trying to get her hands on it, she turned to Zariel for power to fight it at its source here.
mean, that's a lot. That I hadn't gotten quite that far, but yeah, that makes a lot more sense than Jumble screaming another Zariel in the works.
Clarity, you want to make me an intelligence check?
Sure. Okay. Hold on a second. Straight intelligence?
Yeah, because
Okay.
this is pulling something out of the old memory banks, or trying to.
Nope.
No.
That's kind of a pity because uh, out of character, I will say this much: you asked whether the bits of paper you were reading were in. Actually, I'm gonna have Hazel. You want to give it a try? You're the only other person apart from uh Cherie who might have had a look at those documents. Because
Is
you
straight intelligence
straight
or something
intelligence,
else?
straight intelligence. Wait a minute, why am I rolling? She's got keen mind. I would just like it to be somebody else.
Could I possibly tie this to religion somehow?
No, I told you at the time. This isn't about religion specifically. This is you're thinking way back. You remember couple of mostly what you remember is way back in the day when Nora was trying for Palor's Beacon, and later in various bits of the Temple of Nerul. You can't read it, you don't understand it, but you know what celestial runes look like. And you're thinking, yeah, okay, it wasn't infernal, it wasn't abyssal, that. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I think I recognize those runes.
We Can we pull out the stuff we found about that ritual again?
We didn't take it. But ask me, I had a look.
Okay. How did the lettering look? Like, can you?
It was in celestial.
Ah!
Breathe.
That's a little bit more of a reaction than I expected, but I think I have a feeling where you're going with it. But you need the practice at bestowing information without freaking out.
So, ritual, the weird shit that gave Jessamy the physical wings. None of that was in like the bad languages and from the extra dimensional planes and stuff, or like anything in the flavor of draconic. It was in the quote unquote good extra dimensional language, celestial.
And Zariel is a fallen solar. She wouldn't stop knowing how to speak it, or read it, or any of the rest of it, just because she fell.
Or use it for spell script and everything else in between.
So we've been going at this a little bit wrong in terms of what kind of bitch Jessamy is. She's not in league
Oh,
with the black
shit.
shit, she's trying to fight it here.
In the worst way possible.
That too, but it does beg the question, why then does she want Remy not to be able to find Alisaie beyond, petty, spite, that sort of thing?
Where would we go first if we didn't have that? Where were we planning to go?
Arkhan's tower.
And without a plan, we do the usual where we just kind of bum rush it.
Either way, we're a distraction.
A very loud one.
Which I suppose is good for Rosariel's forces, as we were literally pointing out to her not an hour ago.
We've gone from not knowing we were being used as a 5-alarm panic button or whatever else happens when you send something directly into somewhere to trip every single trap on the way in. Now we know, but oh boy. Sort of not much better, is it?
No, but it does mean, given everything else, we know how careful we need to be. And to not necessarily expect that Alisaie is at Arkham's Tower at all. She might be. She might not. She's in that direction. We know that much. But it's better to go in knowing that things aren't as we originally thought they were. I have a feeling you all tend to get a little bit blindsided otherwise.
And just sort of, constantly.
I mean, does anybody have anything else they want to weigh in on about this? And Remy, you look vaguely dubious, but...
I don't know where we were going in blind beforehand, and not much to be done of it.
Just keep however you're doing the tracking thing, eye on the situation, just on the off chance. That throws most of my theories into complete disarray. I really am sorry I didn't notice some of that sooner. I really was just trying to get out of there without all of you being smears on the floor.
You have nothing to apologize for at all.
I'm going to do it anyway. I just did, so I can't really pull the words back. I think you've noticed this to most of your intense regret.
Yep.
Now.
Well, now I suppose we settle for the night and think about it for a little while, and as I say, if anybody thinks of anything, speak up.
Would it be a ridiculous notion if the Jessamy had brought Alisaie for the Archduke to precisely as bait for Tiamat?
Not crazy, but I don't think so. It really does seem like she was just dumping people she didn't like here.
She is still made of spite, even if her actual goals are different than what we thought. A petty, vengeful, spiteful little psycho.
Mm-hmm.
I, we apparently pick the loveliest bedtime stories, don't we?
Mhm.
Michigan just does the butt rub, rub, rub on Hazel because Pet is being comforting.
Latch. Snug.
Snug. Right, well, assuming everyone can get some sleep, I would recommend we do so. Okay, can Remy, Barnabas, Clarity, and Hazel all make me Constitution saving throws, please?
People have +3 if we're all.
Well, you're all in. You're all in the magic sphere.
That sounds like 10 feet then.
Huh.
Okay.
That's
So
hefty
that's
bonus.
17 to 20. So
Yep. And the four of you wake up. You know that feeling of I hope I'm not coming down with something, but no, I think it'll go away once I've had some like food and coffee, but bleh.
Mhm.
That.
Mhm.
Uh, Cherie, Rylan, and Ava are fine. Uh, Cherie, Clarity will be pleased to know, brought an Egreffian import, which is instead of a bottomless jug of water, a thermos of coffee that will provide a cup for everybody once a day. So you can have your morning coffee. Yeah, the expression on Barnabas's face when she broke that out was great. So yeah, she's only got the one cup that comes with the thermos, so she's passing that around and going, "You lot okay?"
Thank you. Just another wonderful, wonderful morning in hell.
Oh.
Uh,
You too, or if they're trying to whammy us again somehow.
oh, I'm fine.
Oh.
As fine
feels kind
as
of ick.
Yeah.
well. It doesn't seem to have. We'll keep an eye on you, but it feels more like something you fought off than anything else. It basically starts first with Barnabas, then with Clarity, because Clarity takes a little bit to wake up most of the time. Then Remy, then Hazel, then Ava, then Rylan, and then she gives herself the coffee. And, the ration things.
Yeah. Beyond that one additional theory, anyone come up with anything else?
I wish I did, but no.
Rylan, you've had the most time to think out of all of us. What?
I'm on a different wavelength right now,
Uh,
because in my head, I'm thinking a question that I probably shouldn't even be thinking given all that Jessamy's even done to us.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out.
Elaborate.
I'm trying to figure out if she can be reasoned with in any capacity.
Previous experience proves that doubtful.
I think if we
Exactly.
want to have our souls intact, probably not.
She
Different
knew well
wavelengths.
enough what we're fighting, and she decided to lure us all into hell. So,
In all fairness, given the person we're talking about, it's entirely possible that she wasn't 100% sure you'd follow her in there.
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
Because
again,
she is trying to fight it.
Well, time runs differently for one thing. It's entirely possible that she was trying to get you to get rid of the stupid, what in her mind is a stupid ring, before you even tried to get here. She doesn't know, she certainly doesn't know if it works between planes. It could just be that she's a petty bitch.
Mm.
Yeah, so Rylan, that's still something that was worth saying. Next time, say it.
Honestly,
I'm working on it.
they say everything that comes into their heads, and they haven't died of it yet.
Yeah, that only
Okay, most
backfires
of
when
them.
we're trying to be diplomatic. And usually failing at it.
This is why you need someone with you at all times, isn't it? Insofar as reasoning with Jessamy goes, I couldn't say. I've met her a few times long before this. She's single-minded. Or that's the impression I've always got from her.
So wait, does that mean she had even more of a mono focus than Tag?
She was the one who ensured that Tag's focus stayed mono, I believe.
Oh god, she's worse. Oh gods above and below, she's worse.
I mean, we knew she was pulling the strings for a while at least.
Yeah, but we thought that was more in service of causing problems rather than.
That's not what I was thinking when I was saying things like that. And to be fair, some of you remember that Alisaie was saying that the relationship between Tag and Jessamy was, evil Grand Vizier from Jessamy.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think, given that her initial impulse when everything started going so drastically wrong was just to kill everybody, I have to wonder, but I suppose that depends on what happens when next, if next we encounter her. Remy, when you were in that room, what did she say to you?
looking at notes.
Out of character, just to remind you, you got mouthy at her and she gave you shit for not letting her monologue, so you didn't get much.
Not much. We kind of threatened each other, which worked better for her with the magic she had on hand.
Oh, you remmied.
Wasn't in a position to do much else.
You let her talk, maybe? I understand vengeance, but talking. Some people do it. Well, actually, no. It would have been worth it to find out if she was going to let things out when. I mean, that's a shame, but if that's how it's handled, then that's how it's handled. So, in answer to your question, Rylan, not sure we really know if she's reasonable with.
That's why I've been sitting on the thought for as long as I have.
Well,
Still, still worth having them out instead of not knowing that you've got them.
I mean, it. I think that's the thing with you. You tend to say very little, so when you do speak, it's important, so we listen. And I suppose that depends at least partially on her and partially on us. Uh, if either side starts with violence rather than conversation, well, that answers the question.
Hmm.
If both of us stand down, if both sides stand down, we can talk about it, then maybe. But I get the very strong impression that Remy would like to. Uh, how did you put it, Barnabas? Trisected?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm assuming she's going to continue holding a grudge after I did that to her already.
Fair, but you can speak to people that you hold a grudge against.
We'll see what she does when we find her.
That's fair enough. I mean, I suppose your experience with that sort of thing is a little bit limited. I seem to recall a story which I think I mostly got from Flitty about a scheduled bar brawl.
All
Harder
right, that
was,
incident.
Harder was at a very low priority, and he didn't. He took that personally.
You scheduled a bar fight.
If,
You tried to schedule a thing that never can be scheduled.
I don't
Um,
know about that, but
I think it might have worked if it hadn't been for the poison, wasn't it?
yeah, yep, yeah, he took it personally.
and saying it can never be scheduled. That place that I keep getting hit in the head with a chair when I walk in the door says otherwise.
That only happened to you once.
Okay, got hit once and ducked it the second time.
As I understand it, Darvin also nearly got beamed with a chair. He managed to dodge, but I suppose that's a problem with Tull.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds less like scheduled and more like perpetual.
No, it's actually scheduled. The whole point of Her Grace's Bower is that if it's not something you want to bother the various smaller courts or the Court of High Justice, you can just schedule some time on the floor to uh, take it to the knockout.
It's a good system.
What?
Well, not the worst idea I ever heard.
For them so far.
Not bad. I just don't know how the follow through works.
Well, it's a matter of honor. Basically, one person gets knocked out, they bring them around, they buy each other a beer, and the party who won gets whatever it is they're fighting about, and that's the end of that.
I'm suddenly very glad that honor system actually works.
Well, I imagine it will. I mean, first of all, the fact that it's the basement level is largely frequented by guards does help. Um, and now that they know exactly what Governor Zet is, I have a feeling that there will not be any problems in there ever again. Although that
That's
reminds. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Out of curiosity, is there other people who try to cheat? Probably not.
No, no. That's the other thing. In places like that, in most of the places in Ambir, it's also it's happening in that place because the gods are watching.
Uh, that makes sense.
And also, a lot of it depends on your definition of cheating. Um, Improvised weapons are allowed. Nothing bladed. Uh, any magic that is used may not cause property damage. So we have the occasional bit of magic missile, but no fireball, no thunder wave, no any of that kind of thing. And it has to be, the end result has to be something that only needs a health potion to fix. So, no blight, no contagion, no disintegrate, that kind of thing. It's just. Usually it stays with any kind of physical damage or force damage. Because, they don't want the place freezing, burning,
Right.
covered in acid.
Hmm.
Besides, they've got an audience and it's fairly tight in because you've seen the size of that place.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. If you injure a spectator, you automatically lose.
Mm.
And then you are effectively, basically at that point, the offending party, the party that got injured, is allowed to take it out on you. It didn't count with you, Barnabas, just on the basis that was an accident. Accidents happen.
Mm-hmm.
But they try to minimize that most of the time. They just didn't expect anybody quite as tall as you to be walking through the door at that second.
Yeah, makes sense.
Wow.
And
Then wouldn't
I mean,
any person in the audience being injured be an accident as well?
Yes, but there's a difference between somebody just opened the door and we know all these people are there about 3 feet away.
Ah.
One comes under the heading of this was an accident. This couldn't have been anticipated.
Mm.
The other comes under the heading of negligence.
Right. I see.
that and just opening the door, getting immediately beamed with the chair is, to be fair, funny.
I had not thought about it that way, but I think
It's classic slapstick.
It is the most. How is No, I'm not even going to ask how is it relating to the gods, because the Ambir is apparently the most lawful place in the entirety of the continent.
Well, now that the Azamar settlement is effectively shut down, it certainly is. One thing I am going to have to speak to Governor Zed about when we get back from this is gold dragons like their solitude. But if he wants to maintain that solitude, he's going to have to give me a few more responsibilities because clearly more things need dealing with than he has been dealing with.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one bit of reform that needs to happen. And besides, he's, as I say, he's very solitary and, well, he's very good at the things he does. He's also got a certain honor system that is not particularly keen on the occasional informant. Whereas I'm perfectly happy to get my information from whatever source happens to be going. Thank you very much.
Oh boy.
So yes, I'm sorry. While we're on this rescue mission, I'm thinking of civic reform.
And not a bad thing. Sometimes the power structure of a situation does need to essentially get hit with a mallet.
Not a bad thing at all, recent events considered.
Well, yes, but at the same time, I probably want to be focusing at least some of my attention on making sure you all don't die of undiplomatic.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you've already done the job with that as much as anyone could be asked of.
Yes, but I have a feeling we might have to do more of it because sometime either late tonight or very early tomorrow morning, which I very much suggest the latter because nobody wants to be doing any of this after dark. We're going to be getting to the sticks soon.
Mm.
And if you'll recall, Zariel said that we'd be dealing with the ferryman.
Mhm.
I think I
Right.
mentioned the problem is going to be with payment. It's not like they take gold here. And even if we had, even if we weren't good people who wouldn't even think about selling souls as payment, we don't have any anyway, except our own, and that would be a whole different problem. So soul coins, not so much a thing. Honestly, that's a thought. If we come across any, what do we do with them?
Mm.
Maybe we take them back, and something to look into when we're on the world, where there's a slight chance of helping the poor person in the coin.
Fair enough. I just wanted to make sure that this was a thing we were considering. There's a lot of things to run into and think about around here. I know that there's a very single-minded focus with you all, and I very much understand that, and I approve. I'm a secretary. I have to think about the peripherals. In any case, shall we?
Let's.
Yep.
Yep.
And onward they go. As you're passing sort of through what passes for the morning in some place where the sky kind of gets lighter or darker, but there's no active sun that you can see. Currently, while it's still quiet, the area that you're crossing into is a lot more previously lived in, sort of lived in. Remy and Barnabas will recognize this kind of thing the most. This looks like there was an army camp here at one point. A pretty damn large one. And remind me, what's everybody's passive perception?
12.
11.
13.
16.
11.
Yeah, so it's elf eyes and secretary eyes and ears, more to the point. Um, I mean, for about an hour after you started walking, you start coming into the ground is all torn up. There's various piles of rubble and what might have been tents and pieces that of some things that might be war machines of some description. Some of them are very faintly moaning. And since there's no actual wind here, you're not entirely sure why. But
That's ominous.
a little while later, Cherie and Rylan hear moaning that's not Hell Machine. Sounds humanoid. And given that it sort of tapers off into kind of a sob, yeah, that's
Somebody's here.
and it seems to be sort of over to the left, as far as Rylan can tell, in a pile of what looks like a couple of collapsed tents, but it seems like no, they're not as collapsed as they look. They've been pinned up a little bit, but only to look like they're collapsed, so no one will come in and look.
Just sort of keep my ear out, and then I just point when I hear it.
Yeah, sure he is gesturing in that direction as well. Once you have it pointed out, I think you've all got enough perception to at least be able to tell that no, that tent isn't fully collapsed. Mostly Remy and Barnabas, because they have experience of tents like that.
Mm-hmm.
Should we investigate?
Carefully.
Uh-huh.
Approach quietly, and as you, I mean, are you stealthing or are you just going carefully and quietly?
I will stealth.
Why to stealth?
Stealthily.
Barnabas is going to stay right where he is because he is not stealth, and him is not friendly.
Okay, does everybody who's approaching and being stealthy want to make me a stealth check, please?
Ooh, nat 20 for a 34.
Clarity is gone.
I'm in that next campaign that would have happened if you guys had pissed off Zariel and not had Cherie.
You have stealthed so hard, you are in a new timeline now.
Yeah, you approach. Check a couple of things here. Yeah, well, most of you are pretty stealthy, and one of you is mega stealthy. Clearly, some little bit of crunch has alerted them, or just the fact that those are wrong noises for nobody out there, and because what Rylan in particular is getting is shh, shush, 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 and then quiet. So clearly, as far as Rylan can tell, somebody in there is scared of you.
We're not gonna hurt you. We want to help.
Silence for a minute, and then... How do we know you're not lying? Voice is... youngish, late teens, early 20s.
We're not devils. Or demons.
And another voice, a little bit younger and a hell of a lot more brash, despite the fact that that's the one that Rylan heard moaning and just going. You think that's the only problems here?
90% of them. But
We have coffee.
and food.
Sure, he just gives up.
Swear to God, if this works.
This is the point at which Sheree gives up on all of you, kind of clambers over to a bit of the tent and pulls it up. And oh, hello. Yes, some of you do. You do actually recognize me, I'm fairly sure. Why is the governor's secretary in hell?
Long story.
After hearing that, would it make sense for me to just beeline over there?
If just near him, apparently.
Yeah, near him, and I'm going to pop up like behind Cherie.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to duck to do that because she's only just. And yeah, what Hazel sees is a couple of Scourge-Aasimar, young, so they're probably just guard cadets. They both have sort of manacles, one on each wrist, but the chain between them is broken. they've clearly been battered to the point that their own healing abilities could only do so much.
Oh dear, Paylor, what in the...
And Hazel is just kidding. Who the fuck are you?
Hazel Hearth, Cleric of Paylor.
We're friends. Carlotta, Dax, please. I don't believe you actually remember our names. Well, I have a memory. Come on. Fine, but if anybody tries sticking us again, I'm going to hit them. Yes, dear. Come on. And yeah, Sheree literally just nudges Hazel out of the way so they can actually get up and get out of the tent. And yeah, you guys see what Hazel saw. The boy is the younger one, the clearly brasher one, but also the one who looks to be in the most pain. And given that his knee is not at a great angle, that's probably not surprising.
Can I figure out whether this would require a heal spell, and if that heal spell would wipe the leg first?
Give me a medicine check. No, unfortunately, you would have to straighten out the leg first. It's healed. Clearly, the only reason you can put weight on it at all is that he healed it, or she did. And that's the best they could do. They clearly don't have...
That needs fixing, probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it was funny, and then I healed it, and then it was still funny.
That being because you need to straighten it out before you do that.
That's gonna break stuff all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And Shuri is like, we probably don't want to do this here.
Mm-hmm.
And B, if we can get them home, which we are going to do one way or another, we can actually take them to... There's a street off the street of knowledge. It's the street of healing. They can at least make sure the poor man doesn't have to feel it when his leg's rebroken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For now, as long as you're mobile. Oh, I'm not sure how much of my daily ration of coffee is left, but I do have that, and I do have some ration bars that don't. Actually, I think I'm gonna stick with water for you. Water and something to eat. Well, hopefully somebody asks some questions of these individuals. Sit down. That looks like it hurts. Dax is just thump. Ow. And starts rubbing.
You said that they still have manacles on.
Yeah, the chain between them is broken, but whoever, they or whoever did that didn't have time or inclination to get those off their wrists.
Clarity steps out from behind wherever she was hiding, maybe behind Barnabas.
Good spot to hide.
Hi. Do you want me to take care of those manacles? Sorry, my name's Clarity.
Carlotta is just Dax. You know everything the captain said about tieflings is crap, right? Yeah, but it wasn't because she's a tiefling, it's because she just appeared.
I do
She's
that sometimes.
very, very sneaky. She's good at that.
Carlotta is just, I'll go first then. Thank you. Sorry, it's been a rough little while.
You don't have to apologize.
Dax is, I kinda do. Sorry for yelling. It, it's stuff. So yeah, I'll take one roll for thieves' tools unless that roll is bad.
Okay.
Oh boy.
18.
Yeah, no, I had a feeling, but not one's happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll take that roll for the lot of them. You get them unlocked fairly easily, and meanwhile, Cherie is giving ration bars and water skins and waiting for somebody who's not her to ask questions.
Can you tell us what happened here?
We found it like this. Carlotta is just. I mean, we're really. I guess we should be flattered that you think we could cause this much destruction, but no.
Oh, that's good news that the army is well away from here.
No, because, well, I mean, the army's that way. And you can just about see the sticks far, far off in the distance, but the fact that you can see it when you couldn't before is the thing. They're back the way we came.
How long have you been here?
Couple of days.
What have you seen since you've been here?
Not much. We were hiding.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, there's other with the Scourge Asimar Guard in a camp back that way.
Wait, really?
Along with other people that Jessamy banished out here.
Is she just turning Avernus into her garbage dump?
Sounds like it.
More or less.
Why doesn't she just find a really big compost bucket like normal people?
Fortunately, I think it's a case of extremely petty behavior on her part. And vengeful, and being a complete fucking psycho.
They really don't know what to say to this, so they're just kind of looking at you like, yeah.
You, okay, you know, have any idea why you were tossed in here?
Well, I mean, we had day patrol a while back. I guess I don't know how long it's been for anybody really, but we had dawn patrol with a couple of guards, and they changed, and they freaked out. They freaked out, and we freaked out, and I mean, it was dawn. Nobody was awake in the settlement, so they grabbed us, shoved us back in, and asked the second, what do we do with this? And next thing we know, we were here. Well, not here. Here, we got we got dumped up that way. Points in a kind of a Styxward direction.
Far enough that way to be near a tower of any sort, or
You kinda. We were. Dax is just. We were in it for a while. Holds up one of the uh, now open manacles.
so you were held in that tower?
Kind of off to the side a bit. Uh, They they had some issues with finding an appropriately fireproof cage.
How did you get out?
I didn't see. I was kind of not conscious at the time, Carlotta is. I didn't see clearly either. I mean, it looked like one of the devil ladies with the wings.
Did she have white wings?
It was dark. My dark vision's not that good. I don't know.
There, we're looking for a protector Asimar who has natural white wings. You
In
could
in
be
in
mistaken for one of the Iranies if it's dark.
in absolute union. The what?
It's another long story.
We don't really know. We just know that there was the sound of. I mean, it was feathery wings. That's what we got.
I understand.
Smashed the cage, smashed the chains. Didn't say much. Just what we could see was the pointing, which got us most of the way clear of everything.
How long ago was this?
Like I said, we've been here a couple of days. Not
Okay.
not Avernus here. Here. This spot here.
Okay.
No,
Given that escape would have been about, you said 2 days ago.
a little longer than that. It took a while to get here, especially
Uh,
because we couldn't move that great.
it actually has a. How did you get across the river?
Uh, we kind of snuck into the boat.
Wait, you managed to sneak on and basically got a re-ride? What else was on that boat?
Dax is. I threw a rock, and Carlotta is just well. It was empty when it came through onto this side, but there was like tarps and things. So I guess they were maybe going to be picking something up. I don't know.
I don't think we're going to be able to get that lucky.
Not for a group this big.
Not unless Clarity wants to go by herself, which
Mhm.
is not happening, obviously.
Right.
I guess
That's
she and I could move ahead, but that even that's
We are not splitting up here.
Sure he is. Thank you for saying that. I would have hated to have to slap anybody.
yeah. You would not be alone in doing that.
But sounds like we're going in the right direction. Actually, Remy will look at the tower and then check the ring.
Well, actually, you'd have to, given your passive perception, you'd have to make a fairly good perception check to see the tower. You can just about
Oh,
see the sticks. The tower's
oh.
further, what passes for north here.
She looks towards the river and then checks the ring.
That's still the approximate direction. To be fair, the closer you get, the more accurate it's going to be. But
Mhm.
at this point, that's still the approximate direction.
That's as good a news as any out here.
Dax is just, I don't understand what's going on. I'd really like to, I think.
I'm reasonably sure you were saved by the Protector Asmar, who is my wife, who Jessamy banished here.
Why wouldn't she say anything though? That seems a little weird, doesn't it?
They
Kind
probably
of.
couldn't hear for the smashing.
Well, also, like, I think it, yeah, it was dark, but people still patrol.
Mm.
It's a little bit weird, but a lot of weird stuff
Plus,
happening out here.
the patrols over there would have been entirely Tiamat faction things,
The
scales
thing,
and clanking.
the things that look like Dragonborn really aren't.
Hmm.
Yup,
Most
those
Dragonborn
things.
don't have wings, and sure he is. Abishai. What now?
That's what those things are called.
Okay. I thought. I mean, there were a few different kinds. There were some that were. Most of the ones we were seeing in the front, the ones that we took the tunnel past were like Dragonborn, but with wings and a bit closer to dragons, if you see what I mean. Then there were these big gray motherfuckers. Dax, look, if I can't swear in hell, where else can I swear?
Big gray, but still dragon-looking things,
Mhm.
and multiple heads. One.
Out of character, you guys remember about the Draconians?
Right.
The filth to things? This is me responding to Smeagol's blank look.
Yeah, no, sorry. I blank look because when you were speaking quietly, it, like on my end, it completely lost
Ah,
your pickup.
Draconians, the already tainted ones, being kept behind the lines so they're not fighting Zariel's devil's horde yet.
Oh shit, gray ones, and they're being kept back. I'm not sure if that's a sign of Arkhan having restraint or just following through with the rest of the plan, whatever that plan is. Because those are worse than the other ones.
Carlotta is just Arkin?
The guy
Tiamat's
who owns the
sorry,
tower,
who owns
Red
towers?
big red
Dragonborn.
dragonborn, weird hand.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, he's not happy really about any of this. As far as I, Carlotta's, as far as I could tell, he's why we were in cages outside of the tower and not inside of the tower.
So he's
Did,
still, huh?
did he
Because when
question
we
you
when
at
we
all?
met him a while back, he was already not happy with the direction things were going for his whole who he works for and everything else. And now, and he seems like openly agitated.
Well, he doesn't like the Uzi Gray, not quite Dragonborn, but
He doesn't like the enfilthened ones.
in whatn't?
Filth. The reason they're like that is a black sludge that warps the soul.
Oh, what Captain Tag calls the soul taint.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Did Arkhan question you at all?
No, he was mostly we got brought in by the Abishai. You said.
Mm.
And he chucked us in the cages. He didn't want us in the tower, so he checked us in the cages outside of the tower, and we didn't understand some of it. Well, I didn't understand any of it, but Dax has been learning some draconic, and he's like, most of what I got was not yet, not until I have to. We can stall this for a while.
Huh.
I don't know what this he was talking about.
You two got unbelievably lucky,
I'll say.
both in the stall and the rescue, because that means you weren't subjected to the stuff.
Yeah. Carlotta starts effectively your post Zariel panic tremor,
And I am just
And-
basically just Michigan.
and Dax just faints.
Yeah, I just shove Michigan into into Carlotta's arms.
Snug.
Snug, that one.
Snug. Thank you, but why? Kind of worried about. Kind of worried about Dax.
I've been in your boat in the panicking space. I recognized that reaction. Michigan helps.
Yeah, I'd probably be checking
Um,
on back.
Turning Hazel by the shoulders towards Dax.
I'd probably be checking on him.
Yeah, as if he's just had one shock too many on top of an awful lot of shocks.
Mhm.
And yeah, do I have anything resembling smelling salts or the ability to reboot somebody after they've passed out?
And now
from that?
roll the hand of fate. Yeah, you don't have anything that's specifically smelling salty. Fainting has not exactly been in your wheelhouse. But unless smell has been affected by Avernus instead of just taste, you have one of the things that you did in Egref one of the things you noticed in Egref was that Hot Pots has its own line of hot sauces. And of course you bought one of every kind.
I'm just pulling out the one that's just that has the actual "do not eat this unless you sign a waiver" label. Unscrewing the cabbage, holding it vaguely near him.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna need, because let's think, it was, Clarity and Ava who were checking on Dax while this was going on. So can you guys roll me Constitution saving throws with disadvantage, please?
Oh no, whoops.
Oh, disadvantage, okay.
Oh.
With disadvantage, apparently. Wow.
Well,
Oh, well.
you,
You went for the good stuff, man.
Nope.
yeah,
What nuclear abomination did I buy?
you bought a Hazel level nuclear abomination, and for Clarity, Ava, Dax, and Carlotta, you're not going to be able to smell anything for like hours.
What the god is that, Hazel?
Eyes are streaming, so's the
Oh!
nose.
Screwing it shut. Well,
Dax is doing
Right,
Barnabas' scuffing away on his ass.
I do believe you've given us spicy damage. Not sure how you did that.
And Cherie that's capsaicin damage, actually. That's what's
I'm
in
gonna
the spicy to make it spicy.
fully close it, hand Clarity with the label pointing up first, the one that mentions waiver.
I did
That-
not sign a waiver, though.
Nobody,
That would
Carlotta
make-
is nobody signed a waiver.
No.
That would make
I'm
about
gonna put that away.
3 gallons of wonderful chili.
No, if it's that depends. Is that the must sign a waiver or must have immediate access to either a cleric or a health potion?
I'm gonna produce it and hand it to Shuri.
No, that's second most
Mm.
spicy. To be fair, you do remember the one that's that you must A, sign a waiver, and B, have access to a health potion or a cleric immediately upon consumption.
Hang on. I'm pulling out the bottle of that
Turn open
stuff.
that one.
Backing away.
Turn open that
No.
I'm not opening. I'm just holding it up.
Put it away,
I'm
Hazel.
just backing like it's a bomb.
We're already in hell. We don't need to make it worse.
Agreed.
Shuri is just, yes, this makes about 5 gallons of excellent chili. That makes about 10 to 15 gallons of even better chili.
Mm.
Hands
What
the bottle back
protective,
to Haley.
what
Roll
protective
back into
gear do
the
you gotta wear to
containers.
do that, though? Mm.
They actually sell bits and pieces that deal with that at Kitchen Witchery. They're the ones that do the Agriffian imports. It's a thing.
Gotcha.
And you'll
You
you'll
got
re-
one of
you'll
everything.
you'll remember that that's where you got you still have you don't have the box anymore, but you do have the measuring cups and spoons and the cookbooks in your haversack.
Yep, the cooking equipment that's just listed under.
No, well, not you, because they went shopping just before they got teleported into cages. But probably not going to bring that up in the middle of Avernus. Yes, and Shree's like, now that you're done traumatizing their souls and their sinuses,
Michigan, come here.
snug. Back to Hazel, just boing. And Shree is, well, I was saving these for a special occasion, but I think you two have probably earned them more than some of these. And actually brings out a couple of slab-shaped items wrapped in paper. Which of you is the bigger fan of chocolate? Carlotta is just, that one's for you. That one's for you. When they open it, Barnabas will see that it is fudge. There is more in here, but we've been traumatizing them for the past 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Emergency fudge.
It's not as good as it would be back at. In fact, I was doing some comparison shopping on the local fudge availabilities, and there's one place I have got to take you when we get back.
Oh.
They specialize in coffee fudge.
Mm.
Various different
Oh
flavors
no.
of coffee fudge.
Uh-oh. Just watching Barnabas's face.
Right, now that everybody's had a bit of a chance to calm down a bit, let's give them a minute to get their sinuses back under some form of control before we ask them any further questions. But we may have to sit with them for a little bit, because this is a thing and we might need to know more. Which, out of character, we will all think about because it is now approximately break time, and it does seem like Lindira needs to be talking to people elsewhere for a little bit. So it's come at a good time. See you guys in a bit. And we're back, still in Avernus, just about within sight of the Styx, dealing with Dax and Carlotta, two Scourge Azamar cadets, who are who have been hanging around in a more battlefield-looking area, and have been tripped over by the party. I'm just seeing if anybody has any further questions, comments, things to say to these individuals.
I know that you both have been through a lot, but is there anything you might have noticed about the gods' patterns or anything that, because you escaped from there, so is there anything that might be helpful to know, even just small details?
And Shuri is actually, I'd expect that the just details would be the first things to go, memory wise, if they're that panicked. But fair enough question. Carlotta's just, I mean, we didn't really see anything. We were brought in, and And when we were let out, it was dark, and we had just got pointed to the tunnel. So, Barnabas, Clarity, you're smart. Is anybody gonna ask about the tunnel?
Yeah, I was just about to. What tunnel is that?
I mean, it's the exit's a little hard to get to. We got lucky, but there's a tunnel through some rock bits. I'm not really sure. Probably something lives in there, but we got lucky and didn't see anything. Maybe whoever let us out killed things. I don't know. It comes out kind of near a sentry post. We had to sneak closer to the river than we like to get to the boat, but uh, like I say, we didn't see very much. It's
Is there? Oh, geez, Louise. Um, is there any sort of um landmarks, any markers, anything that we can look for to find the either side of the tunnel?
I mean that we really didn't see. It's just way out at what I isn't so much the mouth of the sticks, but there's that whole mountainy kind of area over there, and it's I mean it's maybe 10, 15 feet from the banks of the sticks, but the if you're I don't know how many of you could squeeze through the gap in the outer wall to get to the mouth on this side, but it misses a. I think it's just that it misses a whole lot of the camp. It's not a very long tunnel, or at least not the bit we were heading for. I think there are other passages, but Dax is just. I just. I just asked for guidance. It was a thing.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean we didn't have any problems getting between getting through that gap between the wall and the cliff, but we're and Carlotta's we're well given we're kind of scrawny. But you also have to be careful because with the wall and everything, there's not a whole lot of bank, and it's a bit of a ways to get to the dock from there. I think we mostly managed because we kept squished right up close to the wall, mostly because we didn't want to be near the river. Anything else?
Helpful. Thank you.
So what happens now?
Oh, well, we're going that way. This is a problem. How far back? Been since the camp.
We can't
Barry, what would you
by themselves,
suggest?
I think.
I found this on the web.
This somehow mistook Cherie for a completely different word.
I don't want to know. I don't care. Carrying on. Oh, great. Whoever was talking lost their train of thought.
I
How
just asked
far
Cherie
out?
what she would suggest.
Well, currently, she's sorting through her bag because I kind of want to hear from the actual PCs before I wind up throwing Cherie into the mix.
How far is the Eskimo camp? How long have we been traveling since then?
Well, last night was our second night stopped. So 2 and a bit days.
That's not a good march on that leg.
I mean, it kind of holds weight. It's just kind of ow and kind of wobbly.
I mean, we haven't seen much, so I won't say it's safe, but well, there's no armies of demons or fiends or demons or devils that we saw behind us.
Not that we saw, but they've had a couple of days to potentially regroup. That's the other problem.
There's the one with the problem with the leg. Which one was that one?
That's Dax.
Is Dax using anything that is like to help him hold himself up, like some sort of stick or anything?
No.
Do we have any stick-like things to help, at least, so that he can travel better? I'm going to rummage around the like tent poles and stuff like that to see if there's any sort of like crutch-ish thing.
Well, you make me an investigation check, and I'll roll the hand of fate.
Okay. 27.
Yeah, what you discover is that the hand of fate hates you, and there is
Oh,
nothing
no.
that would effectively work as a crutch. What is there is too splintery, and the closest you can get is something that honestly does look like it's going to break in the next 5 minutes, and even then, holding it like that wouldn't work particularly well for an actual walking aid. A mobility aid rather than just a make walking easier walking stick. There's a big difference between a walking stick to just help propel you along a little bit and something to keep weight off. I know this I know this very well in point of fact.
Well, damn it. It won't hold your weight, but it might help you walk a little more easily. It's let me see.
What's the floor been like as far as we've been here? Is it sandy or is it feel?
It's by and large hard, cracked, rocky kind of terrain.
Blasted wasteland, basically. Literally blasted.
Well, says Cherie, the only thing I can think of, and I don't know how helpful it's going to be, is I can send a message to the individuals back at the Scourge camp. They might be able to. I mean, it's either you try to meet them part way, and either way, most of the choices involve hiding here for the duration, because either we can come back for you, or well, that's the thing. If it takes 2 days to get there, and we probably won't be in there for quite that long, so it's either waiting here for us to pick you up, or calling them.
You should tell them either way so they know there's 2 more of them out there that they need to keep an eye out for.
Well, if we're bringing them back, that's not so much an issue anyway. I mean, I certainly still can. They were particularly upset to know that some of their Wait a minute. If you didn't know they were there, there are probably still some of your people in there somewhere. Did you see anyone else in cages? And Carlotta sort of glances a little bit sheepishly at Dax and is, uh, I mean, I didn't so much see, but I did hear some other clanking as we were heading in the direction of the tunnel. Dax is like, why didn't you tell me? Because you were hurt bad enough. And I figured they'd be right behind us somewhere along the line. So, I don't know. They might be out. They might be stuck in the passages somewhere. I mean, maybe they re-caught them with whoever was letting them out in the first place. I don't know.
We'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was much more than that. Hey, Dax, did you hear anything? Um, Dax thinks about it for a bit, and the best I got was something about hoping for a better catch. I don't know. Anyway, all I really know is that nobody sneaked on the boat with us, so
Well, it's either you hide out here and wait for us to return, or you start hiking out to the camp and maybe they can meet you halfway.
I'm sure he is. Given the speed at which they're moving, it's likely to be more than halfway. Dax sort of takes the stick Clarity he's given, tries to put some weight on it, and then crunch sort of snaps down the middle. Duh! Okay, maybe not. Shuri is just. Honestly, I think your best bet at this point is staying put. I will let them know that there are a couple of other survivors at minimum. What they do from there, I mean, if you give us a few minutes, we'll be able to wait for a reply. But more than likely, the safest thing to do is hide where you were hiding and at least have a bit more of an armed escort, because clearly somebody took your weapons. Carlotta is just, that was a. I mean, our swords weren't for shit anyway.
Mm.
Well, I mean, we're juniors. It's a thing. Look, I thankfully have a spare water skin. We'll leave you with a couple of the ration bars. Hopefully, a little bit of hope will be able to make the waiting a little easier. She's trying desperately not to say, maybe there will not be quite so much of the crying if you aren't quite so disheartened, and that will mean you are less likely to give yourselves away. But she doesn't want to say that because that's rude. I don't know what we do about the other one. That's something that, and we need to sit down for a bit of a rest anyway. So while we do that, we can discuss how to proceed with this new information, and it's actually probably better having you guys around while we do that, in case we have further questions. You happen to remember a detail. Come on, have a seat. And handing out the ration bars. So, what does this change insofar as our
Well,
One
we
thing,
know
one thing I can say off, just that it doesn't change, is that yeah, we need to get our mitts on Arkhan
we were hoping to talk to him
faster.
right away.
Fair, fair, okay, but I'm more talking about getting in because I don't think his army is going to be very impressed by we need to talk, and we'd probably rather not be as disarmed as people who have regular use of magic can be. And I don't think we can take down an army.
I mean, there's that tunnel that they told us about, but that seems kind of difficult to attempt.
Well, it at least gives us a mode of reconnaissance. If we can hide in the tunnel, that sounds close enough to the tower to get some information about getting in for all of us, rather than trying to storm it or something.
And it gets us through most of the army without being seen from the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
My question is about those other passages. They said there were other passages. They may have taken the safest way for them in their state, but is there any way we could find out whether there's another exit on this side of the Styx? We might not have a ferryman available, but we might have alternative means of crossing it.
Yeah.
If there was a tunnel that went under the river, it sounds like a pretty significant tool to whoever controls it. Not something that just is left unattended.
Well, it sounds like it was unattended enough to sneak the two young Scourgeasmar out of it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, that fact alone says that if we can find another way in, that's probably our way through, especially if it's on this side, because then there's no risk of repeat foot in mouth with the ferryman. No need to deal with the payment there either, because the payment's the bigger problem than even the foot and mouth thing. We don't have... One, we don't have any. Two, we're not doing that.
No, we're not.
Also, I didn't necessarily say it goes under the river. It might, and that would be the well, I say that would be the best course, but often if you've got an underground cave in a river, under a river, it'll drip.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably don't want under just to be on the safe side. But if it's under a mountain and we have to cross it, there are other ways and means, depending on how wide it is. That, if we're not worried about being spotted, we can use more easily. But the big question is whether there is one, and how do we figure that out?
Might just have to search once we're closer to the river.
It sounds like it would be mostly searching.
Is there any...
Sorry, go ahead.
Is there any sort of clairvoyant method of looking? I know Alisaie had it, but I don't know what all your abilities might be.
That's not generally my forte, but Hazel, I've been made privy to something about omens.
Yeah, I've still got those. I can definitely, well, there's either directly asking a question concerning a goal through divination or communing.
I think asking the actual question would be like you apparently did finding.
Yeah, those are largely yes. The communing is largely yes or no.
Oh,
Divination is a direct question about a certain goal.
well, Well, it worked well enough when your biological father's house was being burned.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna need incense and small offering for that.
Well, I assume that you carry sufficientnesses.
Yeah, the incense I've got.
I will assume you have some kind of offering to make.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No. If you're going to use I mean, depending on the kind of thing you'd want to use, let me see if I have what I have available because a lot of anything consumable does tend to get, well, unpleasant here.
Mhm.
What sorts of
That's
things
kind
do
of why
you
I'm worried.
what sorts of things do you normally use for an offering?
It usually would be instances of like small scale food or seeds or anything living
Rummage, rummage,
life.
rummage, 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 rummage. Wriggle. Wait. Nuts or seeds? Hands over a bag of pistachios.
This will definitely work. Just
And because they are from Ambier, they shouldn't be completely uh well, ash and unpleasantness.
okay. So that brings it to how do you want me to phrase this, everybody?
Where will we find the
Mm,
secret tunnel?
no, that is assuming that there is one.
True.
I get
Sort of looks at
one
Michigan.
question.
It sort of looks at Michigan. Show us a map of the tunnel system the Scourgasm are used to escape.
Hmm.
And sort of plucks Michigan out of Hazel's lap and puts him down. I heard enough about the story of Michigan being a deliverer of omen and sort of says, "Sorry about this," and grabs one of the pistachios and feeds it to Michigan just as a sorry, we're asking you to do shit now kind of treat.
I'm gonna set up the incense and the little mound of pistachios.
Mhm.
Construct the arcane slash prayer slash divine circle, and just basically small prayer to Palor and the want to and just we because it's a question. So please show.
Could What is the layout of the tunnel system these Scourgasm are used to escape?
What's the layout of the tunnel system the Scourgasm are used to escape the tower? Mm,
Two things happen in relatively quick succession, and it feels like one should be the you know, the reason for the other, but probably isn't because Michigan is omen generator. For a place that has no sun and no particular clouds, there's a certain amount of. It's like thunder, but closer and angrier. And coming from two separate directions. There are two gods here, and the one you called on isn't either of them. And the individuals in charge around here, or trying to be, weren't impressed. And Michigan, it's kind of scrabble. But when finally done, it kind of rolls over to Hazel and just snug.
Oop.
There's the claw mark pattern. Shuri is looks at this, pulls out a bit of parchment, a bit of charcoal, and actually does a rubbing. Right. That little crosshook there is probably the ones that they used to escape. As that set of double lines there must be the sticks. Should be one. If I take diagonally that way, but not very far diagonally, it's almost due west. There should be an entryway there. Although if what Remy is saying is accurate, and I have no reason to doubt that it is, it might be difficult to find.
As long as we have a direction to search.
Well, that we have the best approximation of a map that a panicked church griffin can provide.
And meanwhile, I'm just kind of looking vaguely up because of the.
Yeah, it's kind of stopped now, but that was just excuse the fuck out of you from two gods.
That was the jailer of the damned and Paylor arguing essentially.
No, that was Tiamat and Jailer of the Damned going, Sun God, fuck off!
That's even funnier. It's one of them just going, "Hey, what are you doing on my lawn?" and the other one just screaming.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's as best as we're gonna get down here, and I
Yep.
think somebody else noticed, so we should get moving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in all fairness, if they know that a couple of if they know there are a couple of escapees and probably more, 'cause I can't imagine they don't. That some of the armies, at least, don't know about the guardsmen.
And either way, we now have either reestablished deific attention and deific attention on one end, and well, the attention of the one all the way down in the.
Well, no, it's more that it doesn't necessarily have to be us. If there's other Azumar here, besides Alisaie, who's to say they haven't tried calling on this sort of thing already? And that might be why Daria was so reluctant to say anything about any kind of magic.
I would expect.
I mean, Ava, whatever favor you're thinking about asking of Paylor and Zuriel, whatever you're doing in that regard, I have a feeling we might want to wait for if we can wait until we're on the prime material plane, but
Yeah.
if we can't, it's gonna have to be a last minute thing because this was just a subtle omen, as it were. What you're asking for a direct hand of the divine down here, probably. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what you'd ask. It would depend on the situation anyway, wouldn't it?
And
Yeah, I
this
was having
and
to
down
go
here was
for-
actively labeled as someone else's property, and there's another one already edging in on his turf. So
Well, yes. I mean, Tiamat's always been down here. It's just they're now having a proper power struggle apparently, which is kind of impressive when you consider one is apparently chained under a mountain somewhere.
Yeah,
Actually, not very far from here, thinking about it.
yeah. We're in one backyard belonging to two people, one of which actively hates us.
And the other one probably isn't going to be overly impressed with us either, but what are you
I
going to do?
was gonna say.
Well, if I can deal with governmental dinners with the five claws and Crea Bendis being Crea Bendis everywhere, I can deal with this. Let's go.
One way to put it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And turns back to the Scourge Asthma. You were actually hiding very well. We just sort of happened to hear you, so maybe a little bit quieter if possible. Clearly you're being alert, so that's a good thing. A little bit more of eyes outside. And we will be back. Possibly running for our lives, but we will be back. And pulls out the spare water skin, a few more of the ration bars. That's the thing, I don't know exactly how long all of this is going to take, so off we go.
He is going to take out the large bag of roasted nuts that she had bought in Anbeer and be like, "Here, you need it more than I do. I can get more later."
And Shreya's like, no, seriously, eat them. It's, you know what food from Ambir is like. That actually transcends hell. Nomph. They still don't taste right. Well, it's better than ash, isn't it? Thank you. Michigan is just sort of with a little paw, like trying to wave,
Stretches.
and then just
You are a delight.
and then back into the bag. And Sheree looks at the two. That's Michigan. You can pet him later, probably. I mean, you did get to snug him, so that's something. Dax thinks about it, grabs the bag of nuts, grabs a small handful, and offers them to Michigan. Delicious! Nom, 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 nom. You know when birds do the pecky, 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 pecky.
It's the yoink, 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 yoink.
Yeah, and trying to be careful, and clearly hasn't hurt him any, but it's amazing how fast those things go. Okay, cool. Thank you. From Michigan. Sure he is, just at least you have manners. Try to make yourselves comfortable. We'll be back as soon as we can. And off you guys go. Do west-ish with Shuri kind of just making sure they're heading in the right approximate direction on makeshift map. And yes, the only problem with this one is that it's, and obviously we asked for the tunnel system, but that didn't cover what's outside. But I kind of extrapolated from that C curve that they must have taken to get out of the tower. And so that must be about the cutoff, so looking at that. So that was some information.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, actually.
Those are two lucky youngsters to still be alive.
Sort of makes me wonder what that does to the various theories of where Alisaie is and why this is pointing in the approximate direction of Arkhan's tower.
Well, if nothing else, if she was helping people 2 days ago, that's a good sign she still has her memories.
Well, she did 2 days ago.
It, it's something.
My only concern is that third they were talking about.
Mm.
I mean, either they're lost in the tunnel system somewhere, or they got recaptured, and I don't think that Alisaie would leave somebody to get recaptured.
Hmm.
I mean, alternatively, it's not pointing towards the tower at all, and she's hiding out in the tunnel system.
Good on.
It just means we're probably going to have to be a little bit careful. It's the main reason I bring it up. There's there's the potential for rather panicked third Scourge Azamar in those tunnels somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And of course, we don't know what's in that tunnel section. They clearly didn't want to be in those tunnels for very long. It might
Yeah.
just be them being overly cautious. They didn't strike me as budding adventurers by any stretch of the imagination.
At the same time, just to make sure, I mean, I don't know how how much this is going to help, but I do have a little bit of a spell that could be useful. True seeing. Honestly, thank Lyra for that. But
I think that's the sort of thing we'd want to arrange for when we're in that area.
mhm.
It still doesn't stop anyone hearing footsteps, thinking it's somebody coming to get them, and attempting to make us dead.
Man, I have
Not that we couldn't turn aside one person with minimal injuries, but it's best to be careful all the same.
means to make us quieter. But
To be honest, I'm not sure we want that. Not
yeah,
until we get
that's
to the tunnel mouth.
The yeah, once we're in the tunnel, then being quiet and seeing what's what for what it is probably going to be good there. But until we get there,
Oh no, I mean within the tunnel that's not so much of a muchness. If there's anyone hiding in there, there can't be too many of them, so either their friend and we can explain why we're there with a minimum of fuss if they decide to jump out at us, or their foe and we still overpower them because there's a lot more of us. It's when we're coming to the outer mouth of the tunnel that's the issue. Yeah,
right, getting out of the end.
when we're in tower grounds, we'd probably want a true seeing reconnoiter just to make sure that there's nothing particularly unpleasant, magical glyphs, hallucinatory terrain, all that sort of thing.
Oh, right. That is a thing that exists. I hadn't even thought of like the whole concept of illusion over a space, and that's a pit.
Remy, this is all the mention of illusions and things. You do have something that, while not as useful as true seeing, can at least tell you when an illusion is nigh. That little pyramid Alisaie gave you?
Yeah, thank you. And I've got something for illusion that'll help with illusions.
Well, it might save the spell energy if nothing else. Can I have a look?
Yep, she'll take out the thing.
Egraph?
Yep.
One of the less unwieldy bits of nonsense, but sounds like it's useful. Keep it handy.
That's the plan.
It's a bit of a walk to get to the sort of western mountain range, and yeah, you can see why it might be a bit problematic. There doesn't even seem to necessarily be rock slide covering something up. It's just you're not in your immediate line of sight. You're not seeing a tunnel mouth at all.
I'm gonna start looking around like more intensely rather than just sort of perusing.
Okay, investigation check.
Yes. 24.
Yeah, it takes a surprising amount of time with that investigation check, but as you're feeling around, it's less of a rock slide and more of a like something just about the size of cave mouth got rammed into it. So you can just about see that no, that particular rock outcropping is actually some kind of boulder that got wedged in there.
I think I found it. This is, I think, wedged in here.
If you make me an athletics check if you're kind of nudging at it.
And I'm just
Yeah, but I'm asking for it anyway. I don't care.
okay. 12, which is kind of good for me.
Yeah, I mean, you feel that probably somebody with any kind of tensile strength whatsoever might be able to move it more than a very. You're not sure if that wiggle is your imagination or not.
Peter's sort of slipping around on it while I'm trying to.
Yeah, but no, it's certainly not moving visibly.
Walking over, latching onto clarity, picking clarity up, and backing up to get clear for the people with strength scores.
Yeah.
Okay, best tiefling up and away.
I mean, if we're not unduly concerned about making that much noise right this particular second, I might be able to do something about this.
Oh,
Is that permission? Is that tacit permission?
You know
yes.
what? Let's go. Everybody duck! And I'm just running off to the side.
And yeah, she's going to save some higher spell slots, so she's gonna upcast Thunder Wave to 3rd level.
I'll be keeping an eye on our surroundings.
And so it's whap, boom.
Thunderwave and Shatter, the best ways to clear terrain.
Yeah, and it doesn't entirely blow it out of the of its hole, but it does crack the rock enough that you've got something of a passageway if you're careful about bits of clunk clunk clunk. I don't normally have this one in my repertoire, but I understand that both your bards make uh, some better use of it than others.
Now I'm setting clarity down.
It's a perennial favorite, as you can see.
I from the secondhand anecdote you told me, I don't think it was so much a favorite of Hazel and Clarity the first time Darwin used it.
No, but yeah.
We became the projectile. It wasn't fun.
If you're unwilling to bombard your own position, you are unwilling to win.
We weren't winning.
Crazy military advice that's stuck in my head because of how crazy it was.
Your commanding officers have been absolute jackasses.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
called tactical positioning. Look it up. Not you. I know
I
you
know.
know what it means.
Does it look like the noise?
What's
any-
give me a perception check.
Perception. 9.
Well, I mean literally 9. No. Well, I'm sorry. It's just the way you.
No,
said
I
it.
get
It was
it.
like 9. Yeah, exactly.
That's fair. As far as I know. Quickly.
Right. Cast light on, and now Barnabas can see that the Cherie is using the locket he gave her for the focus for light.
No.
Oh.
Well, I wear it all the time, so it's got to be a good one to have around for this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's go.
And lo, into... It's technically Avernus's basement, but it's not a basement because hell is an infinite series of basements.
Face? Shut. Thank you. No, she's not actually touching you. It's just literally face. Shut. Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah, as far as this map goes, it's a little bit more of a winding progress than you would have necessarily anticipated. There's a couple of branches where Cherie has to stop, look over the map, and then continue on. So it's a little bit later than you would have if you'd been going on the straight that you encounter the sticks. It's... At the very least, if Alisaie didn't know about the river and the effect the water of the sticks can have, she still wouldn't have touched it because it does not look potable. It looks rusty and almost bloody.
Mm.
And it doesn't smell much better.
Oh, this is as bad as the blind harpy. This is worse.
No, this isn't worse. It's just more depressing.
I'd argue that is worse.
Well, to be fair, that was an out of character because Cherie has never smelled the blind harpy in any of its states of being. So.
And Barnabas will make sure that never happens.
Well, he doesn't have to. The blind harpy burned to the ground.
Even if we're dealing with some timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly bullshit, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's at this point it's thankfully not too wide, but well, not too wide. It's maybe 50 feet, maybe 60. Kind of hard to tell. It's the light you're getting isn't great. It's also not exactly the smoothest running river in the world. At least here, it's clearly hitting a fair few rocks. So you Cherie is very carefully looking at the effective splash radius of some of those rapids and making sure they stay well behind.
So, who here can levitate?
I've got some, but that doesn't move you across.
Well, I'm gonna have to hand of fate this to see if that's going to work. Yeah, me the hand of fate likes. I have one way, I think. It's one of my higher bits of spell energy, but I think I can. Think it'll probably be worth it. It touches one of the charms on her bracelet, makes a gesture, and in the immortal words of Sam Riegel, Bigby's hand! Yeah, you've got floating purple hand.
Okay.
It's kind of like Mage Hand, but bigger.
I'll say.
That'll work.
Possibly.
That's definitely.
Possibly. I've never really tried carrying much weight with the hand.
Mm.
Unfortunately, Barnabas, this means it's going to have to be you first. If it starts wavering, at the very least, you can probably echo by then.
How far across is the river?
50, 60 feet.
Okay.
Actually, no, you know what? No, I have a better idea because I don't want to trust to. I apologize in advance. The hand grabs you. Yeet!
No!
Yep.
Oh, gee.
Can you make me an athletics check just to see how you land?
Oh shit!
Oh, no.
Hey, fine.
Is that a superhero landing?
You never stick the landing, you roll.
Fair enough.
That's how you handle it. It's hit the ground on your shoulder, roll, and
Disperse the force.
yes.
The actual parkour way to do a superhero landing.
Mm-hmm.
And are you all right?
Yeah! Landing's a bit interesting, but it's survivable. I'm fine. I took it well, but I don't know about everybody else.
Does that mean I should probably go next, just to have someone in medical over there?
While you're in the middle of asking that, the hand picks you up and yeet.
What?
I have athletics check, please. I have decided not to warn them. Not her, anyway. You hit
Oh,
Barnabas.
no. Oh, no.
So
I got you.
can you make me another athletics check just to see if you actually stay standing under the weight of it? You wind up down on one knee, but you're not completely knocked over, and yeah, you've all of a sudden got arm full of squirmy hazel.
Relax, calm down. You're here.
At which point, Cherie turns around to Ava and says, "I've heard Hazel talk at least once about how she yeeted you.
Mm-hmm.
Consider that revenge. And I apologize in advance for what I'm about to do." Grabs Ava. Yeet.
There goes the ranger.
Athletics check, please. Yeah, you don't manage to get sort of on one knee upright. You hit, you roll, and you kind of bump into Barnabas's hooves, but not enough to actually hurt you.
Ugh.
Okay, just in case somebody else needs to get caught, Barnabas, drop me, please.
And Barnabas drops her
Gently.
gently.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just bloop thump.
Hey, you said drop me, not put me down.
Hey, it works. I'm not judging you for that.
Meantime, she's going for the nervous Rylan grab. Yeet! Athletics check, please, for Rylan.
I'm okay.
Yeah, you do wind up vaguely upright for the roll.
Just the solitary comes from the ground.
The clarity. Yeet! Athletics check, please.
Oh, wait, acrobatics this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Incoming rogue.
14.
So yeah, you're in about the same position as Rylan. Just grabs Remy. Yeet! Athletics check, please. If you botch this, I'm going to laugh so
She was
hard.
ready. She was ready.
Yep. And then Cherie. Actually, Cherie. Well, no.
Rolling to catch her.
Yeah, you do manage that, and then the hand disperses. Well,
Oh, well, that worked.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in.
That was terrifying. It's weird that I kind of want to get thrown again.
No.
No.
Knowing you? No.
No. No, not at all.
I've heard enough stories about you to know. No. Well, it's not weird for you. There's a different baseline for weird with you.
I'm used to being yoted.
Ironically, I'm pretty sure it's yeeted. I tried Jotun for a while, but didn't quite catch on.
Well, it's funnier.
Yes, but you still need to have it resemble a little bit more the word that it's trying to be a past tense of.
Well, it's more of a past participle, isn't it?
Something along those lines, yes, but at the same time...
Wouldn't that make the past tense yacht?
No, because you have... Never mind.
No, it's unfortunately you need to keep the double E, which is entirely necessary for something that is onomatopoeic the way that is, because that is kind of the noise you make when it's happening to you. Yeet! So that double E.
Your idea is still awesome, hon. Love it anyway.
There's a debate hall in the street of knowledge that they've had 12 different seminars on that particular word in the last 6 months.
Okay, we have to go there just to launch this at them. I'm just showing, just gesturing to clarity with the Will Smith
To be fair,
gesture.
we've had that argument before, and she'd be alongside and up against people who have spent the last 30 years plus studying solely linguistics. You're a far more well-rounded individual as far as that goes.
Learning experience and demonstration.
Depends on if they're actually doing yeeted that particular day. They do other words, you know.
It just sounds like an opportunity. That's literally what it just keeps sounding like.
It is. It's they also discuss idioms and their sources and that kind of thing.
Still just muttering to herself, going, yeet, yeet, yote, yeet, 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 egg. Just going on like that.
Yes, it's I yeet, you yeet, he, she, or it yeets.
All right.
Yeet,
So what's the
yeeted and have yeeted.
so what's the was it second person plural? Vosotros?
Out of character, English doesn't really have that as that much of a
I know,
differentiation.
but that's where my brain immediately went to those stupid conjugating the verbs.
That's y'all.
Thank you so much for starting this nonsense. You just sent us down an entire rabbit hole, and we're in a metaphorical rabbit hole.
Isn't it great?
Yes, well, you're still laughing and muttering to yourselves amongst about various different verb conjugations of meme words, not even loan words, but meme words. Although I suppose it could be technically a loan word from another language. This is when Cherie is talking about how it's actually taken from a Hoffling word, which is a particularly rude thing because it's sort of the word that you get when somebody mistakes a Hoffling for a gnome in a gnome tossing competition. So, it depends on how it's being used, whether yeet is insulting. And Cherie is in the middle of explaining that when you get in through the tunnel that you're in past the river opens out into a wider sort of cavern. And it's mostly Rylan, because Rylan is the passive perceptive one, and Cherie actually stops mid bit of talk because there's the sound of scrabbling and falling rocks. Small ones. The kind that suggests people are moving around, or things. The light that Cherie is carrying doesn't carry that far, but you know you're not alone. And because we don't actually have time to deal with the rest of this before the actual end of time, that is where we're going to leave it. And this gives me 2 weeks to put together a map if I need one. I'm kind of hoping we'll see about needing one or not. So I'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we deal with what is in the tunnel.